Hello,
Hello.
maybe.
You guys together?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, yeah.
I was like, I hear Amber, but I don't see her.
No, two locations this week.
Ah.
We condensed. Well, how are you? How are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
I am well. Not a whole lot to report.
We saw the boogeyman last night. Should we
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about that on the podcast or no?
I don't know.
Nice.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
I have not, no.
It wasn't bad.
I was a little creeped out when I went to bed last night and that closet is open.
There was no door on it.
Yeah, which is worse.
I don't know. What happens if there's no door? Does that count?
I mean, doors and beds make me feel safe, okay? I'm protected if the doors are shut and the bed, I have all my limbs on inside.
What if the door's not? What if there's no door?
Exactly. My theory's out the window. Or my protection, I guess. But I survived. I'm okay.
It wasn't bad. I mean, the story itself was like what, 12 pages, so it was
Yeah,
kind of
we both read the short story before we went, and it's very short.
yeah. So yeah.
What was it?
It's in Night Shift.
Oh, okay.
It's like an expanded version of that story,
Yeah.
more in depth. And then the actual story is in the movie, the 13 pages there.
Oh,
A good job with it. And it's like your classic boogeyman.
yeah. Cool.
I wish they would have ended it the way the book ended. But
Well, yeah, that's true.
they gave it a little more hope. Well, actually,
Not really.
I'm not going to say anything. So, yeah, go watch it.
Or wait for it to come out.
So nice. What else was that all Stephen King we saw?
Yeah, I mean, watch horror movies, but not more shit.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to worry too much about introductions for episodes at this point.
Oh, nice.
Well, we're so far goddamn ahead. I don't know. I don't even know what episode I'm on.
That's a good point.
So, like, you know what? Whoever's clicking on the link, it says the episode in the link, so you can do it that way.
Yeah.
Well, and I listened back to, I think, the two most recent ones that we had done, because in reading this section, I was like, I did guess right, I think.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Why? So I guess we're rolling now.
Well, yeah, we should. Yeah.
Fuck the introductions.
But yeah, I didn't realize that you leave in all like the talking part before we actually do the introductions, and I was like, huh. Okay.
Sometimes I leave it in, and sometimes I don't. It all depends on my mood and what we're saying. If it doesn't seem like, because like I try to not edit unless I have to. So if it's, if we start off and we're just rolling and talking, and then we do the introduction, I just kind of leave it there. If we're doing a lot of like the last two that are published are not the last ones we did, because like I was telling Amber, I haven't even gotten to the last time we recorded. I haven't even done those episodes yet. So the last two that are published are from the time before that, whatever the hell that was. So
yeah. I mean, those were the ones that I needed to listen to, because that was the one where it was like, what do you think the wolves are? And my first guess was right, and then I said the thing about the clones, and you guys got like surprised by that, so we tangented on it, but I was like, but the first thing I said was right.
Yeah.
They were mechanical.
I said that recently too. I was like, Ali guessed it, didn't she? Like,
I didn't realize. So I thought I made the comparison to Dr. Doom, but it was actually Eddie in the book saying that exact thing. Yeah. I'm like, well, damn, did I think of that on my own? Yeah. And I remember that because of Eddie. Like,
when they said that, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't mean to call it out word for word. Like, oops. I thought I was remembering that on my own, but now I'm not. I'll never know.
And we verified that they are Harry Potter. Oh my God, I forgot the word. Snitches.
Sneeches. Harry Potter model.
Yeah.
AKR.
Well, yeah, like not a lot happened, but there's kind of a lot to talk about.
Well, again, a lot happened. It just happened really fast.
All right, so Allie, first impressions.
That good, huh?
I think. Well, I also read this like a week ago. I busted it out really early, so I'm trying to remember all the things that happened. But the part that just kind of stuck with me was the end. And I was just like, oh God, why? I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be kind of cool, but I'm like, really, Stephen King, inserting yourself in the book?
That's exactly what I was saying earlier. I was like, I wonder how Allie's gonna feel about this because it's definitely cheesy.
So when you say the end, you're talking about the Salem's Lottie stuff.
Yeah, like I know it's technically the epilogue.
Yeah.
That when they go to the doorway cave and they show him Salem's Lot. Yeah.
Well, I was a little. I mean, I don't.
We can't really say anything yet, but let me just say, his presence doesn't decrease.
I kind of figured as much.
Yeah, I mean, once you're going to do it, you got to go all the way in.
Yeah. And again, so this is what I say. Maybe we'll have this conversation again once we figure out what his role is in the story that he wrote. But
yeah.
it's after his accident, like he was going through something, it like we'll see how you feel after you see what happens, but I think it's okay. Like it works well. I'm okay with it. So, but it's too early to get there, so we'll see.
It seemed a little self-serving when I first saw it. I was like, oh, come on. Like, I'm going to read this either way, but come on.
It's also a little Deus Ex Machina. Like really? You're the god that's going to help them?
I mean, it's kind of the definition of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Writer inserting himself to fix the problem.
Narcissistic Deus Ex Machina.
Right? Dickens never thought of that. Okay.
But no, like the actual like fighting the wolves and all of that, pretty. Oh, Benny just like exploding though. I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
It took it right in the chest, didn't he? Like, so there's nothing left to mourn, right?
There's like,
although isn't his dad's like
lots of pieces
right, and then he could pick one and mourn that one. Find the biggest chunk he can.
Yeah, how about Benny Senior coming out alive and Benny Junior dying? Like, don't you love? How about the irony in that too?
yeah,
like, he did all of this to save his son.
Is anybody gonna find out about Benny?
Not because of the quartet, but I'm sure a lot, like the townspeople are not.
He almost ratted himself out when he was screaming about his kid.
They're gonna figure it out.
Are they?
the one that shut him up. He was like, listen, like, we're not gonna tell on you, but if you keep screaming, you're gonna give yourself away.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna. Like, he should have. I'd have been okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's like because there's like nothing keeping him to the town at this point. Like, I don't remember if Benny had a mom.
Not the. I don't know that they said either way.
I don't think they talk about it.
I mean, obviously, I would say he didn't, but where she is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
he, like the elder, or if the younger was the only reason that he was really staying Calla, then there's no reason for him to stay. So why not just out himself and leave?
Yeah, but I also feel like it's the other way around. Like, where else is he gonna go?
There's not many options. I guess you could go to a different Calla, but that's a little suspicious, right?
That's a strange man shows up by himself.
Like, didn't you have a family? What? No.
And where's his? Did they talk about his wife? His Benny's mom?
That's what we were saying. I don't
Oh,
know.
I thought. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was thinking Benny Senior's mom for some reason.
Grandparents' wife?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's although all in all, I mean, R.I.P. to Benny Jr. But like 2 deaths is not bad for all that, like all that buildup.
And at the very beginning of that section, when they were about to fight, they said something like, when everything was going right, it was Ka, and then when people started dying, that was also Ka. And I was like, okay, I expected there to be way more deaths on the side of Calla people than like the 2 that they said with a preface like that.
Well, because it's such a classic Stephen King-ism to be like, there's going to be bad things about to happen. So you usually kind of expect the worst. And then when it's not the worst, it's like, okay, that wasn't that bad. And then sometimes it is the worst and you're not expecting it and it hurts even more.
Yeah.
I mean, we know Roland and Eddie and Jake and Susanna can shoot, like, you know, they don't miss. So you know there's going to be a high kill rate compared to casualty rate. So I'm not surprised that there wasn't many casualties.
But
Yes, but
it's more surprising that their plan for once pretty much worked exactly how they planned it. I mean, except for the Taverty twins or whatever.
who's the one that like stuck his foot in a hole? That's the Tavery twins.
Tavery, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that ended up that was kind of all for nothing because they got away in time or hid in time anyway.
Am I horrible? Because when that first happened, I was like, oh, okay, well, Jake's going to leave them and they're going to have to go. That's all they can do. And Jake was like, we're not leaving them. I was like, oh, okay.
Tower's the tower. Sorry about
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was torn between that or like, instead of getting him out and then going back down to where everyone else was, I thought they would have to like either stop where they were and find a place to hide there or go further up the path to find a place to hide, like splitting the quartet.
I still don't understand how the robots were able to smell them.
I didn't. Well, maybe it's like not smell, but like heat sensors, like
Oh,
thermal
maybe.
vision.
If that were the case, then they would have known where the kids were.
Yeah, but maybe they're following the foot trails of like where they were.
They're following past heat instead of present heat.
Well, they're robots, so they can have some fancy machinery that can sniff some. I don't know if sniff's the right word, but
Can robots
detect.
smell it?
They can detect the presence of something, maybe the shit in their brains that they're trying to steal.
True.
I don't know that smell is necessarily the right word, but they can definitely.
Because that whole part of the plan also didn't make a ton of sense. I mean, I guess they weren't like the robots or whatever, the wolves wouldn't look into it too much because all the clues are there. But I'm like, if they can smell you, how come they can't smell like?
Wouldn't the wolves have been more careful? I mean, clearly they knew that they were getting ready. They were going to fight against them this time. They're like, wow, they've been complacent
guns,
with victory. Well, okay, but nobody ever fights back, so they just kind of charged in like they always did and said, "Hey, fuck you," which I don't know.
Also, does this mean the wolves are done forever? Was that all of them? Like they're not going to hit any other Callas ever again?
I don't think that's our problem.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying it is. I'm just curious because, like,
I think yes. I think that was all of them. They've never had one casualty before, much less what was it like?
Well, they did
60?
have one, but
well, okay, they had one before.
But yeah,
Sepsi, the Death Cellar. Never heard that one before.
I also like the reintroduction of the hat things, the antennas on the top of their heads. I'm like, oh yeah, we know how to fight those guys.
Oh yeah, like it was kind of what we thought it was.
Is Ally still here?
Yeah, sorry.
Just checking.
It's like, oh wait, these things remind me of sharding, and then it's like, oh wait, that's what they are.
Yeah.
Oh well, that was pretty easy.
It's easier than Blaine, that's for sure.
Yeah, by a long shot.
Yeah, why couldn't it be more like Blaine?
What do you mean?
That'd be awesome.
That would have been so
Insane robots on horses charging into the town.
They don't have enough problems. Yeah, and how come these robots don't go insane?
Well, they haven't been around long enough. Only a couple generations.
Oh my God! Speaking of robots, what about what happened to Andy?
We'll get there.
Oh man!
Now, how did Andy not see that coming?
Yeah, as a horoscope, whatever. I don't even know what he is. Psychic.
A horoscope. I think. I mean, I don't know how to say it. The other side knows that it's Roland's quartet and the Calla, right? So they like this is no ordinary.
That was my thought too.
Visit.
Because I'm like, well, they don't know that there's gunslingers there, and I'm like, wait, but they do, don't they? Well, they don't know the gunslingers are at.
Doesn't Walter know where they are?
Yeah, but you guys were the. Well, I don't know about. I don't want to say that, but maybe Walter isn't working for the king. I don't think that, but wait, did I say that?
I think I always said that.
I don't even remember now.
I think I said no way. He's got to be. But he could have his own agenda. But that's dangerous.
Well, that I would definitely believe, if he's, especially if he's Randall Flagg.
He definitely has his own agenda. What year are we in? 1978 yet? Well, that was a different Earth, right?
Yes.
Because they saw the stand.
Well, because they would have been all dead.
Well, that too. They saw the stand world when they got off of somewhere around the castle, right?
I think both. I think they saw all this stuff while they were walking towards the castle. And then maybe again, I think it was before actually, yeah.
Drinking Nalzala, riding in Takoro spirits.
Yeah.
Now there's a quartet of 19.
Everybody's a quartet these days.
By the way, what was it? The address of the house was 19 in the Boogeyman?
Oh yeah, in the movie.
And that was the only one we noticed. Amber saw that one.
I wanted to look. I saw an article. I haven't read it yet.
Easter eggs?
Yes. It says there's a bunch of them.
We missed all kind of it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
That's a nice thing. As Stephen King gets even more popular in media, which is crazy to say, there's going to be even more and more appreciation. So it's like all of these, like you know,
we're going to watch Stephen King movies till well after we die. Much less
movies and series and shorts and like.
I'm glad I lived at the time that I did. That's all I can say.
Oh my God, yes, for a lot of reasons, but yes.
If I could have lived in Maine, it would have been a little better, but it still was pretty good. Maybe possibly right next to him.
I don't want to say
Stalker much.
No.
What is to keep them from coming a day early? That's a good question, right? Why do the Wolves like? So, and that's what I'm saying. If the Wolves know that Roland and Jake and these gunslingers are in town to protect them, they're like, okay, well, maybe we should adjust our schedule and not be so goddamn predictable.
How do you know that they know they're in town?
Because Andy is reporting
to
the fucking big bosses.
No,
well, I'm assuming he's reporting to Walter and or the king at some point there.
But maybe Andy only reports what they ask him. Like, what if they? I don't know. I'm not saying. I think it's probably true what you're saying, but it's possible. No, probably not. Because these newcomers who are claiming to be gunslingers, I'm willing to bet that would be reported. Yeah. Right.
You might get in trouble for not. You could have led with that.
He's a robot. What are they gonna do?
Deprogram.
They started getting all.
Sorry.
A burned building can be replaced. A root child could not.
Well, not according to the guy from the Boogeyman. That's how old they are.
I mean, they can be replaced.
They said you don't get attached to them when they're too young.
Oh, in the story?
The
Yeah.
book.
It was what, like 2 or 3? You didn't have time to get that attached to them.
You'll get over it. You'll forget what they look like eventually.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad movie. There what and how about Roland calling the wolves zombies?
That I honestly I forgot for a second because I was like, I know they're robots, and I remember this from the beginning, which is why it's been cool this whole time to see all the signs. And Allie, well, you must have because you guessed it right away. But I promise you, when I read it the first time, I had no clue. So when that happened, now reading it the second time, I was like, wow, it's so obvious. Like so many things, especially the gray horses. Like when we were talking about that the first time, like
What does all the gray mean? I still don't know.
they're metal. It's not horses. They're like it's like a track. Like a mechanical thing.
So the robot horses.
Right. That's why they all look the same and they're gray.
I can't picture it.
Yeah, well, open your mind.
Man, I guess. The rest will follow.
But I forgot where I was going with that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, well,
So when he said that, I was like, I know they're robots. And I almost believed him for a second. And I was like, are they zombies? Wait, what? And I was like, oh no, he's lying to them. Right.
yeah, I did so I was reading at work and I did have a very vocal reaction when I read that. I was like, what the heck? Like, what?
The old lady in front of you going, excuse me?
But then I remembered that Roland said, from this point on, whenever you hear me talking to the citizens of the Calla, do not everything is going to be a lie. Don't trust what I'm saying. And then
I forgot you said that.
I
mean, I didn't forget, but I was like, whoa. And then, oh, wait a minute. And then, yeah, Eddie or somebody, like, man, he's good at that shit. I was like, oh, wait a minute. He's making all this up?
Yeah.
Roland can lie? What?
Yeah, right? Roland usually is like, you're going to die. I'm going to the tower.
I will say, I know we're not quite there yet, but I love that conversation with Benny Slightman Sr. before all of it went down.
I did like that, too. How he like, look, yeah, I know what you are. Best thing you can do is die, because it's not going to be good for you.
Yeah. And then Roland is like, I've done a lot of people wrong, and I know that. And basically, I didn't really think about this, but he's like, at least I don't, well, he said, I didn't take the spectacles. Like, he didn't take an extra gift. He doesn't pretend to be a good guy. Like, he self-admits that he does things wrong. It doesn't make what he does okay, but it does make him, better than Benny Slightman Sr. So that conversation was interesting.
I got a town meeting, Roland just kind of tells them what's going to happen, and who was it? Telford tries to stand up, and they basically boo and make him sit there.
Yeah.
They're like, there's no vote because he didn't give him anything to vote on. He just kind of told them how it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Is there really a question at this point?
Right. I mean, he said from the beginning, we're not talking to anybody into anything, but they kind of are. They didn't. But no, there doesn't need to be a goddamn vote.
Well, they did.
If you want to vote, we're leaving.
They spent a lot of time. They talked to them in the sense of they spent time with the town and they got to know them and they got them to trust them. So they kind of did convince them, yeah.
Well, yes, but they had to wait for the wolves.
That's true. If it had been the next day, all of that wouldn't have needed to happen.
Right, they figured it out really quick. Yeah. So I mean, they could have just kept going and said, "Hey, well, I mean, they could have went we're going to the tower. We'll be back. What a month till the wolves come, right? All right, we'll be back in 28 days.
Be back from the tower, yeah.
We got something to do.
We'll catch you on our way back.
We gotta have demon babies and fight some monsters. We're coming back. I swear to God.
Yeah, and Susanna not saying anything that she was having labor pains for a week, and I'm like, yeah, that's smart. That's not something you should know about at all.
They had a goddamn meeting about keeping secrets, and they agreed to not keep secrets, and I went back to keeping secrets.
I was like, the only person who's honest is Jake. God.
And Oi.
And Oi.
Egg.
Shut up, egg.
Yeah. Shut up, hey. Have you heard him talk in the audiobook?
Yeah.
See, it's weird, right?
Yeah.
It's like a grumpy old man.
But you know, to be honest, I do feel like that is representative of life, where it's like adults lie and children are honest.
Yeah, I guess.
Sometimes brutally.
Poor Jake. And of course, Jake is the one that had to lose a friend out of all of this. The only friend he's had. The only friend he's probably had in life, actually.
I mean, he was 12. He's had friends before that.
Well, like,
he was kind of a loner at school when we met him. But
I don't mean like no friends, but like best friends. Like they were sleeping in each other's rooms. Like that's brotherly.
Who was?
Jake and Ben.
Have an option though.
I
don't mean that. I mean it. You form a bond because of the situation.
Yeah, got it.
I mean, he was kind of an outcast, but I think they all were. That was kind of the point, right? You messing my chair up?
I'm not trying to.
I did. How about Henry hanging out in the doorway cave talking to Eddie?
How does Henry know? I'm sorry. How does Eddie know what Rhea sounds like? He's just guessing based on the voice.
I was thinking that. When Rhea was like called Rhea the Coos from the doorway or something.
Yeah, and he was like he had never met her, but he'd heard her a lot. I'm like, we know who she is, but like, whatever.
I feel like Rhea's still circling around, like she's just outside of our story all the time.
Yeah, and
but she never actually makes it in.
Like, why would she? It's so not even important, but like, why would she be haunting Eddie? She's not in his thoughts. Like, that would be Roland.
This doesn't even know who Eddie is. She's long dead by the time Eddie shows up, right?
Well, it's a projection of what you're thinking.
No, right.
So why would Eddie be thinking about Rhea scolding him? Maybe she's that scary in the story that it haunted him. I could see that.
She's the only female character who can fill that role that he's ever known.
There's got to be. I mean, just use Eddie more. But Henry. Wow, I keep getting their names mixed up. Or use Balazar, or freaking. Who's the one he just saw again? Jack Andolini.
Mm.
Oh, Double Ugly?
Maybe because it's the connection to Roland, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure for the story it makes sense. I'm just being annoying.
So the Salem's Lot Church looks like the Calla Gathering Hall. Is that right?
What was the third place?
The Stoneham.
Yeah, what is that?
Isn't that the place in Maine where Tower and Deep? No, Deep.
Is it?
Say his name, Aaron. I think that's what it's supposed to be.
I'm reading it. I'm not sure.
Well, it would have been mentioned in a previous section.
He went to 1977 at the New York Public Library. In 10 minutes, he took a book called Yankee Highways. I got lucky on my second try. Check page 119, of course. Stoneham Methodist Meeting Hall, built in 1819, of course. I don't know where this picture, did I lose my thought? Where did this book and picture in the book come from that looks like the Calla?
Well, Salem's Lot is the book, right?
But this is a different book called Yankee Highways.
Oh. So maybe the 18 whatever is the one from Salem's Lot.
Oh, it says it right here.
No, the cover of Salem's Lot had the church that looked like the one in the Calla, that also looked like the one in the atlas that he found of the town where Tower is.
Is that what Yankee Highways is? This is where Tower and them are?
Oh, Yankee of the Highways is the Atlas. Okay.
Okay. All right. So, what the hell was the question? I don't remember.
My question was, what are the three places? Because I got Salem's Lot, I got Calla. So the third one is the place in Maine.
The
Yeah.
East Stoneham Methodist Meeting Hall. I'm not sure where that is. Is Stoneham in Maine?
It is now.
Right.
Oh, right, because he says the picture. Oh, I wish I had just picked it. But the picture that had been taken for Yankee Highways and the road had been paved. Yeah.